Okay, I believe David Rouzer came in. Yeah, be just a minute. Okay, David. Perfect time.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here with you tonight. I appreciate the opportunity and the invitation to come and speak before you. You'll have to remind me about how much time I have. Is it 2 minutes, 3 minutes? 3 minutes, okay. Many of you I know and have known for a long time. A lot of you know my history from my time working on Capitol Hill where I handled agriculture issues. I serve in the state Senate right now where I co-chair the Senate Agriculture and Environment Committee. I am in my second term in the North Carolina Senate. And as I think all of you know, I am a candidate for Congress for the 7th Congressional District, which obviously includes all of Bladen County and the surrounding area. Agriculture is incredibly important to this country. My family has been involved in agriculture for a long time. I grew up working on our family farm in the summers, learned the value of hard work, learned the value of a dollar. And you know, it would behoove all of us to, all the folks who are coming up this day and age to learn the value of hard work and the value of a dollar. I think our country would be a whole lot better off. How do we improve agriculture and move forward? We got to export more. We got to open up foreign markets. We need more of a focus on research, agricultural research. I used to work at NC State University where we were focused on our agricultural resource. But at the federal level, those resources devoted to research have diminished dramatically. We need to refocus in that area because that's how we're going to produce and feed the rest of the world. We have a growing population. We have fewer acreage to produce on, so we've got to have more and better research. And that's something that I want to focus on in Congress. Farm bill is incredibly important. I've helped to write 2 farm bills. I did a lot of work on the tobacco quota buyout. And I have been an advocate for agriculture all along the way, from my time working on Capitol Hill to my time serving at the U.S. Department of Agriculture and obviously my tenure in the North Carolina Senate. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you. Agriculture is incredibly important. It's part of how we're going to move this country forward. And I look forward to your questions.
Any questions for David?
How do you feel about preserving the Golden Leaf Foundation and the Back Trust Fund and returning it to its original intent?
Well, absolutely, I'm supportive of both. That is a state issue rather than a federal issue, but in the state legislature I fought very hard to keep funding for Golden Leaf and also to keep funding for the Tobacco Trust Fund. You know, the Tobacco Trust Fund money has been used in other areas. Money that was supposed to have been allocated for the farmer got siphoned off in other directions long before I was ever elected to the legislature. But both of those trust funds, the Golden Leaf and the Tobacco Trust Fund, are very, very important. And I certainly hope that the legislature will protect that money to its best ability as time moves forward.
Any other? What's your stance on the estate tax?
On the estate tax, I'm opposed to the estate tax. The estate tax is also known as the death tax. And I don't know of a more confiscatory, well, I don't know of a worse tax you could have out there. It is absolutely criminal to tax land when it's passed from one generation, or any asset when it's passed from one generation to the next.
Any others?
I got one. Good to see, sir. What would you say would be the distinction between your position on farmers and our now current Congressman McIntyre's? Just a blank question, feel free to answer how you do.
Well, I think if you take a look at our histories, I have been a very, very strong advocate of agriculture everywhere that I have been. Probably the biggest distinguishing difference is that very first vote in Congress. I'm voting for Speaker John Boehner, and my opponent will be voting and has voted at least four times for Speaker Nancy Pelosi. You know, my votes and my effort for this district will not be compromised by Nancy Pelosi.
Any other?
If elected, what's the first what's on the agenda, and how do you affect us as a voter who receive benefits as far as you elected in office?
Well, the main thing we have to do in this election is about jobs and the economy. We've got to get the federal government out of the way and off of our backs. One of the focuses I've had in the state legislature is getting rid of rules and regulations that just don't add up to make any good common sense. How many of you are familiar with Diener? I think a bunch of you are. Well, guess what? We took Diener to task. We brought them in and we said, look, you're killing the small family farmers. You're killing small business. There's an old adage that personnel is policy. Well, in Diener, personnel, they wake up every morning and they think they are the law. They don't care whether or not you're trying to make it, whether or not you're trying to conform. All they care about is whether you're dotting their I's and crossing their T's. And that has to change. And I've led the effort in the state legislature to completely reform the way rules and regulations are crafted and issued in the state. So now, for the first time ever, they have to take into account the cost of business, the cost of farmers. And if that new rule or regulation is going to cost the farmer money, they have to go back to the drawing board and start all over again. Reason why I mention that is we need to do the exact same thing at the federal level. And I appreciate the question because that's what I plan to do and focus on. And in addition to that, we need to reform our tax code, lower the rates. That will help the economy dramatically, and we've got to cut spending. There's absolutely no question about that. We have a $16 trillion debt that's going to go to $32 trillion to $64 trillion. And the only way to handle it is grow the economy in a great way, and agriculture is a significant part of that equation. And then we've got to cut spending as well.
All right.
How will you eliminate things that would keep the farmers from being monopolized? Small business, all farmers won't be competitive with large farmers. Keep that monopoly. Or is this among farmers if you take the regulation?
Well, I would say the rules and regulations are the reasons why, or one of the reasons why it makes it so difficult for small business to survive and to grow. The bigger guys, they can accommodate the rules and regulations a whole lot better than the smaller guys can. They can absorb that cost a little bit easier than the smaller folks can. You need to have rules of the road, don't get me wrong, but you don't need a stop sign every 10 feet. That's basically the apparatus that we have in place today. We have gone way overboard. We need to bring it back into balance. So I think, my experience is big government and big business go hand in hand. And so if you want to make it to where you can create an idea in the garage and go out and innovate and sell and create a business, you need less government intervention, not more government intervention.
The reason I asked the question